Back at Burton Coliseum in Lake Charles, Louisiana, it's now time for the Class 5A finals in the boys top 28, presented by State Farm right here on the NFHS Network. Tonight, the first semifinal will feature the St. Augustine Purple Knights, who come in with a record of 27-8, taking on the Scotlandville Hornets, who come in with a terrific 35-1 record. Paul Boron and Eddie McCalco will back with you. And obviously these are two very talented teams. Scotlandville just one loss all season. What kind of game? It's going to be hard for this game to match up to the previous two, but going to be a lot of talent on the floor.
A lot of talent. This is the NBA of Louisiana high school. This is a cream of the crop.
Scotlandville, obviously a very good team. They come in as the #1 seed in this tournament. And they play a St. Aug team who came in as the 4 seed in the tournament. So both these teams expected to be at this point in the semifinals. Let's look at the starting lineups, and we'll start with St. Aug, the Purple Knights, who come in at 27-8 under head coach Mitchell Johnson. His starting lineup will look like this. Number 4, Aaron Brigdier will start at guard. Number 4, the senior, along with Faraja McDonald, number 5, a senior guard as well. Joining them in the backcourt will be number 15, the senior guard, Marcel Daniels. And then a 4th guard, Blake Jones, number 25, also a senior. And and the final starter will be Bryce Washington, number 32, the forward. Meanwhile, for Scotlandville, the Hornets, who come in at 35-1 under coach Carlos Sample, their starting lineup will look like this. Hendrick Foster, number 3, the guard, senior, along with number 20, LaMarcus Lee, a junior. Jordan Adabutu, 22, a sophomore forward. Number 23, Ezekiel Brown, the senior guard. And number 24, Garrick Green, a sophomore forward. One correction on what I said on the starting lineups. Fariji McDonald not in the starting lineup for St. Aug. Actually, Blake Jones and Charles Brown and Bryce Washington were those 3 up front. So we're set to go. Class 5A, and we are underway. St. Aug in the purple and gold, while the Hornets of Scotlandville will be in the white with black and gold trim. Obviously, as good as Scotlandville has been all year, St. Aug can't let them jump out to any sort of big lead, you would imagine.
Right. It looks like St. Aug out in man-to-man defense, and looks like they got some athletes out there.
Here's Hendrick Foster. And now a jump attempt is blocked and corralled by Jordan Adabutu. And Ezekiel Brown, the point guard, the leader of this team, the heartbeat of the team. Nice back cut by LaMarcus Lee, but stripped away, and St. Aug will get the chance to put the first points on the board. Driving and dishing and laying it in is Charles Brown. So Charles Brown puts St. Aug up 2-0. Here's a 3-point attempt, and it's good. Ezekiel Brown, the senior guard. Now full court pressure. Bryce Washington, the big fella, brings it up, gives it to Aaron Brigdier, and Brigdier can't get it to go. Pushing it back the other way is Ezekiel Brown. Getting it to Adabutu. Adabutu hangs and lays it in. So good start for Scotlandville, getting it down low.
I tell you what, I'm very impressed with the patience that Scotlandville shows when they're running an offense, but they're not afraid to take the shot either.
Brown gives to Adabutu. And he'll play it up to Lee, and they will get reset. Here's Brown. Brown will drive and kick it out. Adebutu for three, and Adebutu knocks it down, and it's 8-2 Scotlandville.
I say this all the time, but I think he won't.
Actually, you didn't say that at all the whole first game. I thought maybe I was sitting next to an imposter. So 2 3-pointers for Scotlandville, and they've opened up an 8-2 lead. Good job by Scotlandville working inside out.
Absolutely. It looks like they can be patient on offense, or they'll take the quick look. A very, very well-coached team. Having a hard time looking at St. Augustine's socks. I'm sure the LHSA will have something to say about that later on. But.
Got the tiger striped camouflage going there.
Making a statement.
The Scotlandville team lost 4 starters to Division I, so they felt like they had a lot to prove that this group was just as good as those previous teams, and obviously coming in at 35-1, they have done just that. St. Aug needs an answer here. And Washington was battling for position. They're going to call a travel on Brignier.
I tell you what, playing day out against that kind of team last year has done nothing but help this group.
That's right. You're going against 4 Division I stars. You can't help but get better. Or quit, one of the two. And obviously this team did not quit. Here's Brown. Looks to go baseline, nothing there as it was cut off by Brignier. Brignier cuts him off again, and now a third attempt by Brown, and this time he gets to the basket. So good perseverance by Brown, good defense by Brignier, but Brown was patient to get the baseline.
Absolutely. Still full court pressure.
And again, Bryce Washington, the big fellow, handles the basketball. Now they will cross it, and it'll be laid in by Charles Brown.
Like Scotlandville, not too worried about them making a layup here and there. Just relying on their pressure, and they're coming down. Then they're going to make them work on defense.
Here's a drive by Brown. He's going to be rejected by Washington, and boy, I don't know if he got him with the lower body. Boy, it looked like he went straight up. I thought that was a clean block.
Well, the block was definitely clean. His pin against the backboard is where he landed. He landed on top of him, and that big of a body, referee's got to blow his whistle.
Coach Mitchell Johnson certainly doesn't like the call. As Brown knocks down the free throw, and we got our first substitution into the game as Marlon Watts will replace Aaron Brignier. Brown shooting his second free throw. It's good, and he's got 7. So handling the basketball is Blake Jones. Jones a little crossover, cuts back to Washington. Here's Watts. And this is going to be a foul out on Brown. Yep, they get Ezekiel Brown for a hand check. Scotlandville, if you're not familiar, in the Baton Rouge area and St. Aug in New Orleans. Here's Watts. And some patience here as Washington spins, gives to Watts. Watts with a little finger roll, lays it in. So good offense there by St. Aug, a nice patient offensive set.
I'm telling you what, Brown and Green were really banging it up in that lane right there as far as defense. The referees, looks like they're going to let them play a little rough right now.
Good movement here by the Hornets. And ball is stolen by Watts. So Watts will take it strong to the basket. Can't get the layup to go. And this is going to be a foul. And the foul will go against Blake Jones, it would appear. Yep, Blake Jones committing his first foul. So Watts comes in, makes a nice steal, but can't finish. Adebutu triggers the inbound to Brown. Those two guys, the only 2 scorers for Scotlandville so far. Brown giving it up, and here's a three-point attempt. Rounds out for Garrett Green. Blake Jones being pursued by LaMarcus Lee, and they're going to call a foul on Lee.
It's like they're putting their hands on the guards up there. It looks like the referee's going to be calling that tonight.
And if you know that, you just got to adjust.
Exactly.
You know, if it's going to be called that way throughout the whole game, you got to adjust. Amazing how much Bryce Washington handles the basketball, the 6'6" forward. Number 32 for St. Aug, big fella, handling the ball up top.
I tell you what, Green's undressing Brown in the lane right now, pulling on that uniform. I just don't know how long the official's going to allow that to go on.
Hey, we got officials from the old Big East going to let them just beat the heck out of each other. Marlon Watts. So Watts has 4 points coming off the bench, providing a bit of a spark for the Purple Knights, who have cut it to 4. Here's Brown driving, dishing, three-point attempt for Hendrick Foster, and Foster knocks it down. And now a foul on Foster, reaching in on Jones, but Foster, that was a good look, good drive and dish, and Foster with an easy look for 3.
Absolutely, nice penetration and pitch. It's just fundamental basketball. Get the defense to come to you and open up your shooter on the wing. Again, fun to watch.
Aaron Brignier has returned. And here's Watts. To Brignier. Brignier replaced Blake Jones, so he will handle the basketball. This ball is stolen. Adabutu ahead to Green, and Green is fouled. Contact looked like it was from Marcel Daniels. He picks up his first foul. And Garrett Green, the sophomore forward, who averages 10.5 points, nearly 10 rebounds, and nearly 3 assists, goes to the free throw line.
I tell you what, I was really a little concerned as far as these larger schools, as far as, normally it's the bigger, faster, stronger is the ones that win, but both these teams look very fundamentally sound. Both block out, both play solid defense, and it's enjoyable to watch.
Here's a drive by Watts, a little out of control, and now a chance to run if they want to push the basketball. Brown, good job by Watts to recover, gets it, and Brown gets it out to Lee, and they will reset. This is Ezekiel Brown. He's already got 7 points. Nearly stolen, will be stolen. Boy, this Washington is an agile young man, and he'll take it to the basket, and it's rejected by Green. 15-footer back iron won't go for Charles Brown. Loose basketball, and now Ezekiel Brown is going to be fouled by Charles Brown. Boy, I am really impressed. Charlie Brown, that's right. I'm really impressed with number 32, Washington, the way he handles the ball like a guard, and he's a big fella.
Yes, he is. I played on this level about 40 years ago. It just makes me realize how slow I was.
Tell you what, we don't have the weights. I would love to know. Obviously, we know Washington's 6'6", but he's carrying some bulk there too. Strong bulk though, not fat. Just very strong. Little hesitation dribble here, and here's a drive, and that's going to be a blocking foul, and Marcel Daniels will get to the line.
Yeah, it's been about 2 or 3 years since I've seen a Lake Charles official actually call a charge. It was definitely a block.
It was there for sure, and foul is on Garrett Green, and this will send Marcel Daniels to the line. Daniels getting some college interest. The senior, Louisiana College, Nicholls State, Central Arkansas, all showing interest in Daniels, who's been the most consistent player since district play for St. Aug. 16-10, final 30 seconds of the first quarter. Brown will get a high screen from Green, but content to hold this for the last shot for the Hornets. Down to 18 seconds. Now Brown being watched by Dijon Peters, who's just checked into the game. Here's Brown, will drive with 3 seconds, can't get it to go. Green can't get the rebound. Washington will throw it up at the horn. It will not count. Even if it had gone, it was after the buzzer. So Scotlandville up 16-10 after 1 quarter of play. This is the first semifinals in the Class 5A Championship of the Boys Top 28, presented by State Farm, right here on the NFHS Network.
You gotta be ready for one thing, to go out here and play a dang violent sport, full speed. Has everybody got me on that? Sure.
Looking at a live shot of Edwardsville Stadium as he gets set for
Back at Burton Coliseum in Lake Charles, Louisiana. We're in the Class 5A semifinals. After 1 quarter of play, Scotlandville leads St. Augustine, or Augustine, I should say, 16-10. The winner of this game will face the winner of our second game between Thibodaux and Natchitoches Central. So after 8 minutes of play, Eddie McCalco, what did you like from both teams, starting with the team in the lead, Scotlandville?
Well, Scotlandville, you definitely can tell why they're 32-1. Very patient on offense if they have to. They can run if they have to. Got great athletes out there. St. Aug, on the other hand, has great athletes out there too, and both are playing very, very hard.
Second quarter underway. Ball nearly stolen by Adabutu. This will be a three-point attempt, and Marcel Daniels knocks it down for 3, and it's a three-point basketball game. So Daniels.
It's a great job out of the double team finding the open man, and he drilled it.
Here's LaMarcus Lee. And Watts again, very active on defense, coming in off the bench. Great pass to Daniels, and Daniels lays it in. Beautiful job by Watts with the steal, and an even better pass, and Daniels able to finish, and it's a 1-point game.
Again, jumping into the passing lane, getting his hands on it, but I like his teammate just sprinting down the floor, just looking for the pass and finishing the layup.
1-point basketball game, and the St. Aug fans behind us chanting for defense. Here's Green's 3, well short, rebounded by Lee, and they'll reset with Ezekiel Brown. Being watched by Peters. Adabutu drives, looked like there was some contact on his arm, no call, and the ball brought in by Peters. Down low to Green. He is fouled. It'll be a foul on Marcel Watts. So probably should have been a foul on the previous shot, but
I tell you what, Green took that 3 out there, but he's got big Bryce Washington coming at him. You know, had to alter his shot, and at some point. It was a good hustle, and you know, I think the officials get every third call. So
Garrett Green can't get this first one to go. Second free throw for Green is good, and it's a 2-point Scotlandville lead. And here's a steal by LaMarcus Lee, and he'll lay it in. So good defense by the Hornets there, and they extend the lead back to 4.
Watch those little cross-court passes. You got to put something on there. That's going to happen all night.
Here's Washington to Dijon Peters, a contested 3, but he knocks it down. So Dejon Peters comes off the bench and knocks down a three. And it's a 1-point game once again. Ezekiel Brown drives and kicks to the corner, and here's LaMarcus Lee, feels the contact and can't get the shot to go, but Lee will shoot 2 free throws. Let's see who we got the foul on. It'll be on Marcel Daniels. So for Daniels, that's his second foul, and that's important because Daniels is one of the lead scorers on this basketball team. As Lee knocks down the free throw, and Blake Jones will return, and he will replace Marcel Daniels. So Daniels with those 2 fouls, they don't want to risk it, at least early in the quarter, him picking up that third one.
Right, and looking at both these teams as far as how evenly matched they are, might end up whoever has the basketball last is going to win this game.
21-18 Scotlandville. Here's Peters, who just knocked down a 3 a moment ago. Now he's in a double team. Washington goes to the floor. He gets it back, and then Peters is going to be fouled by Adabutsu. So look at the hustle by Washington, the big fella diving on the floor. Coach Mitchell Johnson told me the other day he's a leader as a senior, and you see why, because he's willing to sacrifice the body diving for the basketball.
It was actually a pretty good tackle there, too. Yeah, I'm sure he could play football if he wanted to. He's definitely big enough.
Good ball movement here with St. Aug. Would like to get Washington involved offensively. Big man in the post. Here he gets the rebound and will go for the putback, but it's stripped away from him. And now it's stolen. Marcel Watts laying it in, no good. I'll tell you what, though, Watts has 3 steals since he's checked into the game. He is very active defensively.
Coach says, we're in white.
Substitution checking in for St. Aug. That'll be Charles Brown returning, and he'll replace Dejon Peters. And Scotlandville with the ball.
Peters did a great job while he was in.
Yeah, nice spark off the bench. He gets the three-pointer, played some pretty good defense. Foster trying to find Lee, turns it over. It's going to be over and back, and go back to St. Aug with a chance to cut it to 1 or to tie this basketball game. Aaron Brinier will inbound the basketball. And it'll be Blake Jones. In the corner, here's Jones driving and dishing, and it'll be laid in by Charles Brown. So good job moving the basketball by the Purple Knights, and they are back within 1. Here's Green, good defense by Washington. And they will have to reset, will the Hornets. Nice crossover by Brown, but good defense by St. Aug, and now Lee will draw contact and will go to the line.
Good job being very patient on that, making this possession count.
Aaron Brinier will commit the foul. And with Brinier committing that foul, we're going to get another substitution checking in. Well, they changed their mind on who they were going to substitute in. It was originally going to be Faranja McDonald, and instead Dejon Peters will return, and Brinier will go to the bench. And Lee will try to make this second free throw and extend the lead back to 2. And he does. Two-point lead for Scotlandville. Difference in that first quarter for Scotlandville. They shot 55% in that first quarter, whereas St. Aug shot 44. Both teams playing well, high energy though. Again, we've already 2 games into this day in Class C, had 2 thrilling basketball games. One went double overtime. Now, as Eddie Michalko said earlier, we're watching what would be the NBA of high school basketball, the top level, Class 5A. So a chance once again for St. Aug to tie or take their first lead.
And both these teams can be very patient. And they'll push it down the floor. They'll take the breaks. But if they both can run an excellent offense.
Scotlandville. And that's going to be a travel on Lee.
I didn't say it.
But you were thinking it. So St. Aug with the basketball. Some substitutions will check in. Checking in for Scotlandville is number 12, Braylon Fisher, making his first appearance in the basketball game.
Half-court trap.
Bernier has returned for the Purple Knights, and this is him with the basketball once he reels it in. Over to Jones. Now, St. Aug prefers to go inside out, but they haven't had a lot of success. Good defense by Scotlandville, taking away the post presence. So an outside jumper here by Charles Brown won't go.
Again, good patience by St. Aug.
Here's Ezekiel Brown, who got off to a quick start in that first quarter, but hasn't scored since. Still stuck on 7. Gets the high screen from Adabutu. Adabutu rolls to his left. Still having trouble finding some space. Now it's Lee to Adabutu. Again, patient here by Scotlandville. Haven't been able to crack the St. Aug defense on this possession. Now here's a drive by Brown. 14-footer is going to be short and rebounded by Charles Brown. So for about the 4th straight possession, a chance to tie or take the lead for St. Aug.
You got a 6'6" in your face when you're shooting. You got a 6'5" rebounding.
Blake Jones thought about shooting, instead gets it to Charles Brown, and Charles Brown ties this basketball game at 22 with 1:10 to play in the half. Here's Ezekiel Brown, gets a high screen from Green. Brown will take it to the basket, blocked by Washington. Out of bounds and will be over to St. Aug. So Bryce Washington, the force down low, gets the big block there, and now St. Aug can take the lead. .50 seconds to play in this first half. Charles Brown battling for position down low, as is Washington, but it'll be a 3-point attempt, and Blake Jones will try to get the putback, and he is fouled by Braylon Fisher.
That offside rebound, the most important rebound in basketball. You got to be willing to fight for it. And he's shooting his free throw.
So Blake Jones makes his first. And that's the first lead of the game for the Purple Knights. Marcel Watts, that defensive stopper, along with Dejon Peters, will return. Charles Brown goes to the bench, as does Blake Jones. Scotlandville looking to tie this game after leading most of the first half. They have fallen behind for the first time here in the final minute of the half. Ezekiel Brown content to hold it for the final shot. Organizing the offense, sending Lee to the far right corner and Adabutu to the left corner, as they will get into the offense now with 7 seconds to play in the half. Wasting a little too much time now as Brown is going to look to penetrate. 14-foot jumper goes 13. His follow won't go as well, and that's halftime. So the Scotlandville Hornets, who come in as the number 1 seed, led the entire first half, but in the final minute of this half, St. Aug has taken the lead. They lead at 24-22. Back to recap the first half in just a moment on the NFHS Network.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Back in Lake Charles, where we've reached halftime, St. Augustine leads 24-22. Again, trailed most of the first half, but Eddie McAlco, how about the persistence of St. Aug to chip away, and now they find themselves with the halftime lead?
Well, both these teams are so balanced, and St. Aug just kept plugging away, went right, very patient on offense, going to their big people, and Scotlandville struggled a little bit in the last couple of minutes.
So that's our halftime score. It's a 2-point St. Aug lead, and we actually have halftime entertainment with the Scotlandville band going behind us, but it is halftime in Lake Charles in the Class 5A semifinals in the State Farm Top 28 Boys Basketball Championship presented by the LHSAA right here on the NFHS Network.
got to be ready for one thing, to go out here and play a dang violent sport full speed. Has everybody got me on that?
Looking at a live shot of Panthersville Stadium as we get set for
Back at Burton Coliseum in Lake Charles, where it's 24-22. St. Aug leads Scotlandville as we're about to start the third quarter. Taking a look at the halftime stats for St. Aug, first of all, they shot 45%, including 40% from three-point range. They were 4 of 4 from the free throw line and only turned the ball over 3 times. For Scotlandville, they shot just 35% in the first half, 50% from the arc, 70% from the free throw line. They turned the ball over 6 times. Your leading scorers for Scotlandville, Ezekiel Brown with 7 points, and Adabutu had 5, as did Lamarcus Lee. For St. Aug, lead scorer Marcel Daniels with 7, and Charles Brown with 8. So Eddie Michalco, as we start this second half, St. Aug's got to like the position they've battled themselves back into. Scotlandville got to get back to shooting the ball well, first and foremost.
There you go.
And that's one way to help the field goal percentage, as Adabutu goes right to the basket and lays it in. So
Kind of looked like he was falling down, but he was strong enough to finish it.
So good job by Jordan Adabutu. And he now has 7 points as well for Scotlandville. And we're tied at 24. Burton Coliseum is the site. We are at the State Farm Top 28 Boys Basketball Championships, Game 3 of the day, the first semifinal of Class 5A. And it's Scotlandville in the white, St. Aug in the purple and gold. And a fouling down shot for the second time. So Jordan Adabutu may be better off when he's off balance, because he's just made 2 straight baskets falling over. Back the other way, Brignier draws the foul from Brown and will go to the line.
Just enough to get him get the call. I tell you what, again, they're banging on the inside, and even if they're not calling, they're still keeping their balance, staying square and finishing their shot. And then last couple times got a good roll.
Brignier knocks down the free throw.
I'm kind of curious that every time the ball seems to go out of bounds, we get 13 officials out there. Everybody's pointing in their direction.
So Brignier puts his first 2 points of the night on the board, and we're tied at 26. There's Lamarcus Lee. Nice little weave here, and Adabutu. So Adabutu has made a conscious effort to get more involved, and he's got 6 points to start this second half.
I think his coach told him take it to the goal at halftime.
Yeah, clearly, and 3 for 3 so far here in the second half. Here's Brignier, and Brignier takes it to the basket, and he lays it in, and Mitchell Johnson calls for time. This will be a full timeout, and I'm guessing the first thing he's going to say is somebody cut off Adabutu from going straight to the basket.
Absolutely. Although he's been bumped pretty good the first couple of times, and he still made it. So I think he has a lot to say about it.
Let's talk about how these two teams got here. We haven't gone through that just yet. Scotlandville won 56-30 in the first round, then beat Acadiana 65-34 in the regionals. In the quarterfinals, they beat McKinley 47-29. For St. Aug, they beat Holy Cross 63-57, then beat Mandeville by 17 before beating L.W. Higgins by 14, 57-43 in the quarterfinals. And again, the winner of this game will play the winner of our second game tonight, Thibodaux and Natchitoches Central. Thibodaux, a surprise story. They are the 19 seed, and they are in the semifinals against the number 2 seed, Natchitoches Central. So we'll have obviously much more about that game later on. Here we're tied at 28. Early third quarter. And let's see if St. Aug makes an adjustment to keep Jordan Adabutu from getting to the basket. Well, instead it'll be LaMarcus Lee who goes to the basket, and he draws the foul and gets the lay-in. So Adabutu came to this side. They put Marcel Watts on him, who was so terrific on defense in the first half, but they still gave up the backside, and LaMarcus Lee gets the lay-in.
Yeah, defense kind of fell asleep out of that timeout, and
missed free throw there.
I'll tell you what, free throws kill you down the stretch. You ask Elizabeth about that.
Yeah, it's going to be a long off season for Elizabeth, knowing all the free throws they missed when they could have put the game away. Here's Washington trying to back down, and he is fouled by Adabutu, so Washington will go to the line for the first time, and Washington has been very quiet for St. Aug. In fact, they're actually not going to put him at the line. They're going to say the foul was on the floor. So Washington yet to score for St. Aug. Here's the inbound to Watts. Baseline jumper, nice tough shot by Aaron Brignier. And he's got 6 in this second half. So Brignier and Adabutu each with 6 here in the second half, and we're deadlocked at 30.
Really good movement by St. August, by Scotlandville.
And here's a three-point shot by Adabutu, and Adabutu is taking over this game for Scotlandville. He's got 9 points. And then a foul 94 feet from the basket. You don't like committing those fouls, Coach.
You're right there, and I think you got to be smarter than that, because that can haunt you down the stretch too, as far as fouling out of this game. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Scotlandville extending the pressure, trying to force some turnovers, but you don't want to commit fouls like that. Here's Watts being watched by Green. Marlon Watts, who came in and made an impact for the Purple Knights. And here he is again with the putback, and Marlon Watts will shoot free throws and get a chance to cut it to back within 1. So Marlon Watts, he's just active. You know, whether it's on the defensive end of the floor or they're rebounding, he's just got those long arms, and he's got that effort, and that's what you love to see from a guy coming off the bench, especially.
I'll tell you what, some players just have a knack as far as being in the right place at the right time for rebounding, and he definitely has a nose for the basketball. Again, that offside rebound that he picked up right there, something Scotlandville really needs to look at, because they've been beaten there several times.
Watts can't get either free throw to go. And here's Ezekiel Brown. Foster. Again, good movement by Scotlandville, patient. Adabutu has 9 this half. Good defense by the Purple Knights. High screen by Green, and Brown will take it to the basket. Blocked by Washington. The follow by Green won't go.
Great job taking it to the goal. Just can't get it to fall in.
Scotlandville complaining that they thought that was a goaltend, but I thought that was a clean block.
I think they might have thought it was a little bit high off the rim, above the rim. But again, it's discretion of the official, and they rule out there.
There's Ezekiel Brown for 3. Back iron won't go, and Foster gets the rebound. LaMarcus Lee will drive. Contended and blocked by Marcel Daniels, but Lee gets it back. Foster thought about pulling the trigger. Adabutu wants the basketball. He's going to take it to the rim, and he's blocked by Daniels. Loose basketball retrieved by Ezekiel Brown. Terrific defense by the Purple Knights. Here is Foster going to the basket, and then it's punched out of the basket. That will be basket interference, and the basket will count. So after all that terrific defense, St. Aug falls asleep on the backside and gives up the basket to Foster.
It's like I did enough. I did enough. I can't go anymore.
Here's the inbound. Brinier. Got to wait for help as it was just him and one other player against 4. Marcel Daniels for 3, won't go. And a putback by Washington won't go. So Washington having trouble tonight, cracking into the scoring column. Here's Adabutu for 3, won't go. Rebounded by Green. Back to Adabutu. Nice pass down low, swiped away, and Daniels can't save it.
These big people, they got to learn not to drop that ball that low. They're going to get stripped every time. Hands out there just too quick.
Blake Jones and Charles Brown will return for St. Aug.
One thing you never do, do not save it underneath the other team's basket. They're very fortunate that bucket didn't go in.
Adabutu, nice dish, and laid in by Garrett Green. So Garrett Green gets the lay-in and gets his 4th point of the game, and now that full court pressure by the Hornets. Marlon Watts will kick it out, and now the Purple Knights will try to get set with 2:22 to play in the 3rd quarter. Here's Jones going to drive. Jones misses the layup. Here's Charles Brown with a putback, and Brown lays it in, and Mitchell Johnson wants timeout. Charles Brown with his 10th point, first guy to go into double figures for St. Aug, and a big basket there because they had missed some easy ones there. St. Aug did, and that could have been really disastrous. So that was a huge bucket by Charles Brown on the putback.
A big bucket, and it just seems they're really struggling putting the ball in the hole right now, but they're getting extra shots off of offensive rebounds, and it's keeping the game tight.
37-32 is our score. Scotlandville has taken the lead after being down at halftime, 24-22. Now they lead by 5. So here's Ezekiel Brown. We'll bring it up the floor. Here's the drive by Brown, and it's blocked. And here comes Daniels the other way. What a spin move, but they're going to say he traveled. I think what Mitchell Johnson wants is his team to calm down a little bit because Daniels was out of control there, and there was no doubt that was a travel.
Oh, I just dream of being that athletic.
It was one impressive spin move, but he didn't keep dribbling the basketball. And so
He's already practicing for the NBA because they don't have to dribble in that league.
Adabutu thought about pulling the trigger, but Watts closed quickly. Well, Marcus Lee will drive and dish, and the lay-in for Garrett Green. So good job again by Scotlandville to penetrate and find that low cutter down the baseline. Blake Jones, watched by Foster, goes behind the back and will take it to the basket, but can't get the shot to go. Charles Brown battling for the basketball, and they're going to call that a tie basketball. Not sure Scotlandville really ever had a hand on the basketball there.
I think where they were at, it was about the only thing they could call as far as I don't think anybody was hit hard enough for a foul, and
Daniels trying to find Jones, who able to reel it in. John Peters can't get it to go. Charles Brown, another hustle play, gets the rebound.
St. Aug's shooting percentage is got to be terrible this quarter.
Yeah, they're missing a lot of shots. getting a lot of offensive rebounds. That's really the only thing that's keeping them in this game right now is the second chance points. There was a miss by Peters.
That's another one, point blank right there. They're just not knocking them down right now. Of course, they did this in the first half too. They got behind a little bit and came roaring back in the second quarter. So maybe they're a second and fourth quarter team.
Carlos Sample told his team to be patient here. They're going to play for the final shot.
That's a walk. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Had to say it.
And all the St. Aug fans agree with you. Down to 8 to shoot. Ezekiel Brown all the way to the basket, but he misses the layup. Washington the rebound. Daniels has time, 3 seconds, and he's reaching. Foul. Not a bad foul there because you're not in the penalty. Aggressive play, but a chance for St. Aug to set something up with 1.6 here.
Well, they definitely had the numbers on that. They were going to get some kind of a good shot, so you're right. It's a very good foul.
Let's see what they do here. Inbounded to Blake Jones. 28-footer, back iron won't go. And so we've reached the end of the third quarter, and a Scotlandville team that was down 24-22 at halftime now leads at 39-32 as we get ready to head to the fourth quarter. You're watching the Class 5A semifinals on the NFHS Network.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Back at Burton Coliseum in Lake Charles, Louisiana, it's the State Farm Top 28 Boys Basketball State Championships. And we're in the first semifinal of Class 5A between Scotlandville and St. Aug. Scotlandville leading this game 39-32. If you're joining us for the first time today, we've already had a terrific day of basketball in Class C. First game, a shootout end-to-end action that Eddie and I called earlier this afternoon with New Living Word winning 80-73. That was followed up by a double overtime thriller between Sicily Island and Elizabeth. Sicily Island winning 85-81. So New Living Word and Sicily Island have the first 2 spots in a championship. They will play Friday afternoon for the Class C championship. One of these 2 teams will be heading for a state championship game as well. And that would be Friday night. And they would face the winner of Thibodaux or Natchitoches Central. A lot of basketball left, but Coach McAlco, 7-point lead. It seems like Scotlandville has kind of taken over, but it's more about St. Aug just going ice cold.
You're right there. And again, Scotlandville showing a lot of patience on offense right now, looking for a little crack. St. Aug needs a big stop right here and then finish a few shots on the other end.
Adabutu has that shot rim off, and Washington grabs the rebound, loose basketball. And they're going to say St. Aug actually got the timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout as Washington goes to the floor, so they do indeed get the stop. Now, what can St. Aug do to get their offense going?
Well, they're getting really good looks. But they're rolling off the rim. They just got to slow themselves down a little bit when they shoot and make sure that they finish. But I like the shots they're getting. I mean, even when they miss, they're getting 4 or 5 at a time. You just can't put them in.
Up next, again, Natchitoches Central and Thibodaux. That game scheduled to start at 7:45, but because of the double overtime game in the second Class C final, more likely to start probably around 8 o'clock, maybe even a little beyond that, between Natchitoches Central and Thibodaux. So now these 2 teams separated by 7 points. We'll look at the people on the floor for both teams. For St. Aug, they've got Aaron Brignier, along with Blake Jones, along with Marlon Watts. Their lead scorer, Charles Brown, who's got 10, and then maybe the biggest surprise of this game, Bryce Washington, number 32, the senior leader, a ULL signee, and he is yet to crack the scoring column. Back on the other side, it is Hendrick Foster, along with LaMarcus Lee, Jordan Adabutu, Ezekiel Brown, and Garrett Green. So here's Blake Jones and St. Aug trying to chip away.
Looking a little uncomfortable right here with the full court pressure.
Jones now.
Oh, they're letting them hit inside.
Yeah,
though.
a lot of banging, that's for sure. Brown kicks it out. Jones thought about the three, dumps it down low. Washington can't get it to go, and now Washington will get a chance to go to the free throw line and try and get on the scoreboard. Again, Washington, one of St. Aug's best players on his way to play at Louisiana Lafayette. Dominant post player, post passer, but been shut out thus far. And not seeing him all year, it just doesn't seem like he's posting up or aggressively calling for the basketball if he wants to kind of take over this game a little bit.
Well, I think that Scotlandville has a lot to do with that, because they tend to be swarming in the lane around him and making things awful difficult. I haven't seen anybody from St. Augustine really step up and be a legitimate outside threat. I mean, to consistently hit from outside.
Right. So 5-point lead for the Hornets. Here's Ezekiel Brown over to LaMarcus Lee. Lee will drive. And let's see if we've got an offensive foul. We do. So the big fella, Bryce Washington, on back-to-back plays, draws 2 free throws on one end and then draws the charge on this end. And so now St. Aug can cut farther into that lead.
And negate that bucket also.
Yeah.
It did go in.
Carlos Sample does not like the call, and he is all over the official right in front of us, as are the Scotlandville fans. Now Carlos Sample working the referee in front of him. Blake Jones goes behind his back, loses the basketball. It's on the floor, and timeout called by Scotlandville. It'll be a 30-second timeout. And Coach Sample out talking to the officials again.
Yeah, it looked like the officials were kind of looking at each other, and whoever was going to make that move first. Not very sure. That's what coaches don't like, when they have a split decision on the floor and then it goes against you.
Scotlandville faithful across the way, certainly not happy with the officiating as well.
I've been in this situations where I've been to the semifinals many times, and I tell you, the officials aren't going to listen to you. They're like the players. Some of them freeze and some of them do great.
So the Hornets will have the basketball. St. Aug extending the defense, and they step out of bounds there. Is that what the call was? I believe it was. We were screened by the official right in front of us, but I think he stepped out of bounds. And so St. Aug will get another chance down at this end.
Both teams look a little sloppy right now down the stretch. A lot of turnovers.
Yep, and there's another one. Diving to the floor is Blake Jones. This is going to be a tie basketball, and we'll stay with the Purple Knights.
They're both hustling. I mean, you know they're going to make mistakes.
Right.
Nobody's perfect, but at least they're doing it hustling. As a coach, you can handle that, but on this stage, you want more.
A little bit of moisture on the floor. (39-34) is Aaron Brignier. Inbounds the basketball, and boy, Blake Jones wasn't even ready for the basketball. Luckily, he heard it bounce behind him. Nearly stolen. Here's Charles Brown to Brignier. Brignier for three. He's got it. A big shot for St. Aug as they drain one from outside and cut this to 2.
That three can get you going, I'm telling you. It was a big shot, big shot. Here's the
Ezekiel
answer.
Brown can't get it to go, and St. Aug can tie or take the lead.
Scotlandville's been on 39 for a long, long time.
Yep. Well back into the third quarter. Brinier to Blake Jones, and Blake Jones is going to drive. Looked like there was some contact. Here's Washington. Washington can't get it to go. And out of bounds, it'll go over to Scotlandville. Boy, Bryce Washington had a chippy at the bucket and couldn't get it to go. Would have tied this basketball game up. Instead, they are still down 2.
If I was shooting like that close, I'd be dunking it.
So, the Hornets, as Eddie just mentioned, have been stuck on 39 for a long time, dating all the way back into the third quarter, yet to score here in the fourth. Ezekiel Brown gets that high screen from Green. But a good job of recovering by the Purple Knights. Here's that screen again. But again, every time Green goes to roll, Washington's right with him. Green's going to try a 3, contested by Washington, but Green hits it. Garrett Green from long range. And he had Bryce Washington right in his face. Big shot for Scotlandville.
Give Scotlandville a little bit of breathing room, but a lot of time on that clock.
Here's Marcel Daniels, down low to Washington. Feels the contact, can't get the shot to go. Obviously, we can see the frustration on Washington's face, not getting the shots to fall, but he will go to the free throw line again.
I'm feeling for him. I really am. I've been in the lane, and there's nothing more frustrating than missing shots you expect yourself to make. He's probably his hardest critic.
But Washington does take advantage at the free throw line. Again, all 3 of his points have been from the charity stripe. And second one goes as well, so Washington cuts it back to 3 as we're halfway through the fourth quarter. Brown watched by Brinier. High screen from Green. Brown goes to the basket, and Washington chops down on the arm. So good job aggressively just kind of lowering himself into Washington and basically initiating the contact, but also Washington brought the arms down.
I tell you what, I'm very impressed with Scotlandville as far as their ability to run on offense and even to break off of it, and if they see a crack to the goal, have the ability to take it to the goal and finish.
Blake Jones replacing Marlon Watts. Go ahead.
Anyway, it's to me, it's the epitome of good basketball, being able to run an offense and playing great defense. And both these teams have done an excellent job today.
And the second free throw is good, and Carlos Sample will call for time. And this will be a full timeout. With it 43-39. We just a few moments ago handed the third quarter stats, so we'll just kind of tell you what the stats were after 3 quarters. First for St. Aug, shooting 46%, 44% from three-point range, 63% from the free throw line. They've turned it over 6 times. Meanwhile, for Scotlandville through 3 quarters, their field goal percentage all the way down to 36% and down to 28% from three-point range, 75% from the free throw line. They've turned it over 6 times. So both teams have turned it over a little bit. For the most part, have protected the basketball, even though at times it seemed a little uneven. But Scotlandville with a 4-point lead. They just need to keep playing that tight defense because they've made St. Aug work for the shots. But as you mentioned, St. Aug's got to start making the shots that they are getting. And they started to do that a little bit when they chipped into this lead.
Again, yeah, St. Aug is getting some good looks. I mean, they just have to fall.
So again, the Hornets will pick up with the full court pressure. And Blake Jones will work on Foster. .335 to play in this basketball game. Third of 4 games on the day here at Burton Coliseum as Marcel Daniels gets the layup to go. And it's back to a 2-point game. St. Aug extending the defense, and they're going to call a bumping foul on Washington there. So Washington picking up the high pressure, and that's number 4 on Washington. And one of the assistant coaches jumped off the bench to remind not only Coach Johnson, but also Washington, hey, you've got 4 fouls now. There wasn't much contact there.
I didn't think so.
I didn't think it warranted a foul, especially since nothing was really happening. But
that's a great job by Ezekiel Brown as far as backing out of the double team, keeping his dribble. I've seen a lot of guards panicking that and drew the foul.
Big rejection there by Charles Brown on Ezekiel Brown.
He doesn't need any supper. He just ate that basketball.
Again, St. Aug trying to extend the defense a little bit. There's Jordan Adabutu. Hands it off to Ezekiel Brown.
You know what I'm thinking.
Here's the drive and the lay-in. So Ezekiel Brown extends the lead to 4 with 2:13 to play. Here's Blake Jones, and now St. Aug will have to start getting even more desperate. Down 4. Daniels for 3. He's got it. Marcel Daniels from long range. And it's a 1-point basketball game with 2 minutes to play in the basketball game. Big time shot from about 24 feet from Marcel Daniels.
Wow. Coach must have told him, you feel it, take it. NBA 3. I always wondered how it would be. All the years I coached, I never had an assistant. I see the coaches huddling up over here. Really not sure what they're saying.
You just listen to the voices in your head, right?
Yeah. Coaching will drive you crazy.
So 2 minutes separating us from a team advancing to the state finals in Class 5A. At least we assume. We've already seen double overtime here at Burton Coliseum in the Class C semifinals.
I tell you what, 2 minutes left. Whoever makes the fewest mistakes and whoever finishes is going to win this game.
First horn, and now St. Aug will come back out on the floor.
Can I ask you a question? Is that a new hairstyle or is that a hat?
Oh, that
number 30.
That Marlon's wearing. He's got a skull cap on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My vision's not very good. As we know, officials don't have to pass a vision test either.
Yeah. Of course, you admitting your bad eyesight makes the criticism of the officials a little suspect.
Don't tell anybody. I've had these guys call so many of my games, I could tell you what they're going to call before they did it.
So here's Adabutu.
Wow.
Floater won't go. And the attempt to save it by Green, but it is handled by St. Aug. Here's a drive by Peters, and Peters can't get it to go. Watts can't grab the rebound. Is this going to be a foul or a tie basketball? It's going to be a foul. And so the Hornets will be shooting free throws, but boy, Peters had a good look at the basket. Once again, a good look that rolls off for St. Aug.
They still have a couple more fouls that they have to take before they're gonna put Scotlandville out the line. Matter of fact, they got 2 more, and then on the next one, they'll be at the foul line.
So St. Aug can afford to be really aggressive if they'd like, trying to force a steal. LaMarcus Lee working on Daniels. Lee driving and dishing, and it's going to be stolen.
Wow.
And here goes Watts on the break, and Watts will throw it down, and St. Aug has the lead 46-45. As we dip under a minute, now 51 seconds to play. Critical turnover, and now the St. Aug fans making some noise. Here's Brown, Adabutu. Adabutu was so big early in the third quarter. 33 seconds, it's LaMarcus Lee being watched by Daniels. Into the corner. Good patience here, but now down to 22 seconds. And now St. Aug, Coach Johnson wants them to commit the foul. They have the foul to give, but he was calling for the foul, and they still have 1 more to give here. But I'm of the belief, if you're going to give the foul, why not try and steal the basketball? Why just foul? Try and, get your hand in there, and who knows, maybe you knock the ball loose.
Really, we saw in a girls' game that they did that. They actually called it intentional.
Right.
When you just grab them.
Unless obviously, you're down, which obviously St. Aug is not. I've always believed, if you're going to foul anyways, why not try and steal the basketball first? And if you commit the foul, then you commit the foul. There we go, 9 seconds, and now now it's a foul up top on Brinier. So maybe the strategy of fouling backfires here, because now it'll be a 1-and-1. And Ezekiel Brown will go to the line with a chance to tie and then take the lead. With 9 seconds to play.
I am baffled.
So Brown will shoot a 1-and-1. The St. Aug fans to our left making some noise. And Brown calmly knocks down the first one. Brown with 11 points. This 12th would be the biggest of the game. Free throw is good. And now Scotlandville will call timeout. It is a full timeout. So now your St. Aug will bypass the questionable strategy on the fouling and talk about what they're going to do now. Down 47-46. Plenty of time to get the ball into the front court. I assume since you've had looks at the basket, try and take it to the rim.
I would definitely look for your dribble penetration and dump it to one of your big guys. And, it's been rolling off the rim all night, but you still, percentage-wise, all you need is a point to tie, 2 points to win this thing and move on. Now, if I was Scotlandville, I would pack that lane. If they're going to beat me, they're going to beat me from outside.
Scotlandville cannot afford to foul. They have 8 fouls, so both teams in the bonus now. And we'll see what St. Aug draws up. I would imagine we'll see Blake Jones maybe bring the basketball up the floor. Marcel Daniels has had a good second half. He's got 12 points. Maybe he gets the chance at the game-winning shot. We'll see what Mitchell Johnson has drawn up. He's talking to Bryce Washington right now. And let's see who triggers the inbounds and then who. Looks like Brinier will throw the ball inbounds, and Washington and Jones will come back. Inbounded to Jones with 7, with 6. Jones with 5 goes behind the back. Now in a little bit of trouble, tries to dump it down low. Washington can't get it. It's going to be retrieved by Scotlandville, and they won't even get a shot off, and Scotlandville is on its way to the state finals as they celebrate right out in front of us, surviving and winning this basketball game 47-46. and some stunned Purple Knights in front of us cannot believe how this game has just ended again for them.
That is incredible. What a finish. What a finish.
Boy, heartbreaking when you have 9 seconds to not be able to get a shot off. Jones did a good job, went behind the back, looked like he was going to create something, tried to jump it down low to Washington, but the pass wasn't very good, knocked away, and Scotlandville is going to escape.
Lost control of it, little volleyball in the lane, and yeah. Scotlandville plays extremely hard.
Carlos Sample, the head coach, right in front of us, turning to his fans behind us to the left, some of them, and he just held up one finger and he said one more, and that's exactly it. Scotlandville is one win away from a state title, and now they have advanced with a win 47-46. They will await the winner of our next game between Thibodaux and Natchitoches Central. Again, that game was scheduled to start at 7:45. It'll probably be right around 8 o'clock when we tip things off. And we'll have the call of that game in the final game of our quadruple header on the NFHS Network. It'll be Natchitoches Central and Thibodaux. But for now, for Eddie McCallico, for Griffith Mahaffey up top shooting the game, and for Rod Kirkman working the board and producing for us, I'm Paul Boron saying so long from Burke Coliseum, where Scotlandville has survived and moved on to the state finals in Class 5A. Back in a little while on the NFHS Network.